Alright YouTubers, welcome back to Fast Gadgets. If you watched my previous video, you know that we are, my wife and I are actually in Upper Michigan, not the UP. We're in the Lower Peninsula, but Upper Michigan. And we are in an extremely remote place. As you can see, the cabin that we've rented is very remote. And as luck would have it, this cabin is so remote, there's no internet. But believe it or not, I also cannot make a 911 call. I get one bar, actually it's no bars, but I get a sort of a signal if I stand up here on top of the table and basically hold my phone up. So if I had to, I really couldn't make a 911 call. So I'm going to show you what I bring with me during my travels when I'm off the grid in Michigan. So the first thing that I bring with me is my Caltech, and I wanted to show you, I put the marker in here so that you can see that it's actually unloaded, and I have the clip out, okay, and this is the live chambered round that was in there that I ejected, okay, so nothing inside here, nothing inside here. So this system, this gun, this is my pocket pal. This particular firearm I actually carry with me pretty much everywhere. I always have it in my pocket no matter if I'm in the city or whatever. So wherever I'm legally allowed to carry it, I carry it. So I do have a permit in Michigan to carry a firearm. So I keep this one with me pretty much at all times. I've got a holster here that is actually very nice. It's a pocket holster. So the firearm slides right in here, and the outside of the case is kind of rough and it's designed to keep it from coming out of the pocket, but the inside, you can see that literally if I let go of the case, it just falls right off. The gun will come right out of the case. So this is a 380 Caltech, and you may ask, yeah, but look at that barrel, how accurate can this be? Well, if you don't know anything about firearms and you see this gun, you may not be too intimidated by it, but you should keep in mind that a 380 bullet is actually a 9mm short. So this round, although it's not the biggest round, it definitely would take care of a human variant, okay? And that's all it's really for. Well, just drop that on the ground. So this gun really is for city carry. That's the only thing I use that for, but I usually have it in my pocket at all times. Out here, I might want a little bit more firepower, and I have a 9mm here, and this 9mm is my Ruger LC9, which is really a wonderful gun. I really enjoy this gun, and again, I'm going to show you that not only is there no clip in there, but it's completely unloaded, and you'll see that on the top of this gun it has an indicator. It says loaded when up. So let me see if I can pull this up and show it to you. Yeah, I'm going to pull that up. You can see that the indicator shows red when it's actually loaded. So basically, if this gun is loaded, the indicator will be up, and when it will show that we have a round that's in the chamber and it's ready to fire. So the release here releases the firearm. I always keep it in safe even when I'm carrying it. This particular gun has a pretty decent pull on the trigger, so it's not like it's gonna go off accidentally, but I still keep the safety on. I train pulling the gun and hitting the safety at the same time, so I've oiled it and it's easy to turn on and off. Red indicates that the safety is off and it's ready to fire. White means that it's on. So I'm going to leave the safety on. Even though the gun's unloaded, I always assume that these firearms are loaded at all times. It just doesn't matter. You just have to assume. Point them in a safe direction and just assume that it's loaded at all times. It's the easiest way to deal with it. So here I have, and I know that the gun lovers out there are probably going crazy, a basic Uncle Mike's IWB inside the waistband holster. that I put my firearm in, and I carry this at about the 3 or 4 position on my back. So if I need a little bit more firepower, a little bit more accuracy, I have this gun. Just so you know though, this gun, I've actually successfully hit a phone book at about 15 yards. I saw my friend do it and I could not believe it. So I said, give me that gun, let me try that. And sure enough, at 15 yards, I was able to hit a phone book. And for those of you, well, okay, no, I take it back. It wasn't 15 yards. I think it was about 10 yards. It was about 30 feet. It doesn't sound significant, but anybody with firearms experience out there knows as well as I do how difficult it is with a gun like this to hit something at that distance. But this gun is extremely accurate. I have a high confidence with this gun. Now with this one, of course, I have an even higher confidence because it's even more accurate. So this is the clip that goes with the firearm, and it's indicating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rounds. Actually should be 7 in there. And the live round that I usually use in here, which is a Hornady 9mm. It's got this rubberized tip that improves the ballistics, but it's still a hollow point, and it still has the ballistics of a hollow point. So again, this firearm is the human variant, so it's not like you're going to take out a bear. So what do I have for that? Well, I am in the woods and there are black bear. Not a whole lot in this particular area. There's a small chance, and for the most part, black bear are not going to be an issue. So even if you do encounter one, if you just walk away and stay away from it, normally you'll be okay. Of course, you got to respect bear and you can't assume anything. So you have to be very careful. And for that regard, I have my Taurus Tracker 44 Magnum, and it's also Magna ported. Now I've actually worked with this gun quite a bit, so I feel very comfortable firing it. I'm going to show you again that the firearm is completely unloaded, all the chambers are empty, and of course there's nothing in the barrel. Now I do not leave my guns unloaded, okay? If they're on my person, they're always loaded and a round is ready to fire. So I've heard people say before, well, you know, don't you put it behind 2 locks and make sure it's secure? If it's in the house and I'm not there, absolutely. Some firearms are always going to be loaded, and where they are either on my person or within easy reach for an adult, hidden easy reach. So for an adult, somebody like me, up high or whatever, you can also get special safes. And honestly, you know, if I had to lock this out, that's not a problem. It has its own lock built in right here, so I could have the key on my key ring and I can actually lock this lock, and this hammer will not cock, it will not fall back. So basically the gun's useless. So that's one method I could use, and I do have the key with me, so I could lock this. I don't know that I would want to be fumbling for a lock if something were to happen. Okay, so I've got this tracker, and I've got 3 rounds here that I keep with me, and I think I'll go from left to right. The first one here is a 44 Special. It's what's called a cowboy load. It's just a basic lead bullet. I honestly don't even remember what the grains are, but I gotta tell you, these are the funnest bullets to shoot. The ballistics of the gun is just beautiful. They call them cowboy loads, you know, because they basically emulate the ordnance of the time, the bullets of the time, as far as grains of powder. I don't even know if, I'm pretty sure it's smokeless powder, not black powder. It's been a while since I fired these, so try not to laugh too hard that I don't actually know what powder type is in there. The second round that I carry with this gun, and I keep my bag of bullets handy here, is a 44 Special. This is another Hornady, and this is of course for self-defense. Again, it has the red rubberized tip in the center for ballistics, but it still has the same ballistic behavior as if it was a hollow point. It just flies better through the air with less resistance. If you shoot often, you know that if I had this bullet in a solid tip, it would be very different firing it. There's a lot less, I won't say a lot, but there is somewhat less kick for a bullet that has no resistance to the air there on the front. And the last one I have, this is actually my Remington 44 Magnum hard cast bear load. And for the life of me, I cannot remember what the grains of this bullet is. I would look it up, but I don't have the internet. But I bought these because they're specifically for bear loads. And one of the raging debates is, you know, how big is big enough for a firearm for bear? Well, I've read a lot about 357s and 44 Magnum. I also have a 357, and I carried that for a while, but it's not like people are out there shooting bear all the time in self-defense, but you know, most seem to agree that ballistically speaking, you're better off with a 44 Magnum load as a minimum. So this particular firearm, these loads I put in when I'm actually, once I arrive and I'm here, I have this loaded, and my wife and I both know where the firearm is. If I go for a walk, I usually take it with me, and I say usually. It just depends. I'm on private property right now, even though I'm licensed to carry concealed. With this particular firearm, I do not carry concealed. I've got a basic holster that goes on my belt, and I just go ahead and carry this firearm outside the waistband. And in the state of Michigan, of course, it's legal to carry a firearm outside the waistband. If you do not have a permit, you must unload the weapon and put it away if you're driving. So you have to unload the weapon, lock it in the trunk, and make sure it's stowed away with the ammunition in a separate compartment. So to get around that, of course, I have the concealed weapons permit. See, in the state of Michigan, they consider a vehicle concealed. So if you're carrying your firearm and you just get in the car, even if it's outside the waistband, it is now considered concealed. So if you have a concealed weapons permit, you can keep this on no matter what, wherever you are. And the last thing I have, of course, this is a knife that I think my brother gave me years and years and years ago. So it's really more of a skinning knife and for cleaning animals, but I keep this knife with me. I'm going to take it out of the sheath here, just to have a halfway decent knife with me. You just never know when it'll come in handy. This one is pretty sharp, and of course it's got a serrated edge here. So that is, in essence, my version of 911, if you will. So out here, I can't get a 911 call out, and even if I could, let's be honest, it would probably take police at least a half hour to get here. So you're pretty much on your own out here, and you need to be ready. Now, there are those who say, you know, that's just silly, you know, do you really need a gun? Well, do you really need health insurance? Do you really need car insurance? Think of it that way. Do you plan on getting in an accident? No, you don't plan on getting in an accident. Well, why have car insurance then? Because you might need it? Makes perfect sense. Sounds like it's the same thing with firearms. There are people who use firearms for all kinds of wrong reasons, and then there are those who are responsible and are careful with their firearms and use them for legal purposes, which is exactly what I like doing. So that's it in a nutshell, and hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next talk.